El Beard de Gold. Un king had un beautiful garden, y en that garden había un tree que grew apples made of gold. El king always counted estas apples, but when ellas estaban ready to eat, él found que una was stolen every night. El king estaba very angry, so él told el gardener to stay under el tree all night y watchlo. El gardener told a su oldest son to watch el tree, but el boy fell asleep a la midnight, y a la next morning another apple was gone. Then the second son was told to watch, but él also fell asleep a la midnight, y por la morning another apple was missing. Then el third son asked to watch el tree. At first, el gardener said que no, because él was afraid su son might be hurt, but finally él said yes, y el young man lay down under el tree to watch. When el clock struck 12, el son heard un sound en el air y saw un bird made of pure gold flying toward él. As el bird tried to take una apple con su beak, el son jumped up y shot una arrow a él. La arrow did not hurt the bird, but una golden feather fell de su tail as el bird flew away. Por la morning, el son took la golden feather to el king, y el king called all sus wise men together. Everyone said la feather was worth more que all el money en la land, but el king said, una feather is not enough para mí. Yo want el whole bird. El gardener's oldest son fue to look for el bird y thought él would findlo easily. After walking un short way, él saw una fox sitting near un forest, so él took su bow to shoot it. La fox said, no shoot me, yo will give you good advice. Yo know you are looking for el golden bird. Por la evening, you will come a una village con two hotels across from each other. Uno looks very nice y beautiful, but no go inside. Stay la night en el other one, even if it looks very poor y dirty. But el son thought to himself, how can un wild animal know anything about esto? So él shot su arrow al fox, but él missed. El fox raised su tail y ran into el woods. Él continued walking y arrived at un village in the evening where había two hotels. En uno, la people were singing, dancing y eating, but el other looked very dirty y poor. Yo sería very foolish, él said, if yo fuera a that ugly house instead of este beautiful place. So él went en la nice house, ate y drank as much as él wanted y forgot del beard y su home. Time passed, y because el oldest son did not return and no one heard any news de él, el second son left home, y la same thing happened to him. Él met el fox, who gave le good advice, but when él reached los two hotels, su older brother was standing en la window de la happy house y called lo to come inside. Él could not say no, so él went in y also forgot el golden beard y su home. More time passed, y el youngest son also wanted to go out a el world to look for el golden beard. Su father refused por un long time because él loved su son y was afraid something bad would happen y él would not return. Finally, el father agreed to letlo go because el son would not stay in home. When él reached los woods, él met el fox y heard el same good advice. Él estuvo grateful con el fox y did not try to kill him as sus brothers had done. So el fox said, sit in my tail and you will travel more quickly. Él sat down y el fox began to run. Ellos fueron over logs y stones so fast que el wind blew loudly through su hair. When ellos reached el village, el son followed el zorro's advice y fue straight to the poor hotel without looking around, y él stayed there comfortably all night. In the morning, el fox came back y said, go straight until you reach un castle where many soldiers are sleeping and snoring. Ignore them. Go inside and walk until you find una room con un golden beard in una wooden cage. Una beautiful golden cage está nearby, but no move the beard a la golden cage or you will be sorry. Then el fox held out su tail again. El young man sat down y ellos traveled over logs and stones so fast que el wind blew through su hair. Everything in the castle gate estaba exactly as el fox had said. El son fue inside y found la room where el golden beard estaba en una wooden cage, con la golden cage y las 3 lost golden apples sitting nearby. Él thought to himself, sería strange to carry such a beautiful bird in esta ugly cage. So él opened la door, picked up the bird, and putlo in la golden cage. But the bird screamed so loudly que all the soldiers woke up. Ellos caughlo and tooklo to el king. A la next morning, los judges met y decided él must die, unless él could bring the king el golden horse que runs as fast as the wind. If él did esto, él could keep el golden bird para himself. Él started su journey again feeling very sad y hopeless, when suddenly su friend el fox metlo y said, "Now you see lo que happened because you did not listen to my advice. However, you will still tell you how to find el golden horse if you do exactly lo que yo say."
Ved straight until you reach el castle where el horse está. El man que cares for el horse estará sleeping y snoring next to él. Take el horse quietly, but make sure you put la old leather saddle en él, no la golden one que está nearby. Then el son sat en la zorro tail, y ellos traveled over logs and stones so fast que el wind blew por su hair. Everything fue well, y el servant slept loudly con su hand on la gold saddle. But when el son saw el horse, él thought era una shame to put una plain leather saddle en él. I will give la good one, él said. Estoy sure él es good enough to have'la. When él lifted la saddle of gold, el servant woke up and shouted so loudly que los guards came running in and caught him. In the morning, la court judged him and said que he must die. But ellos agreed que if él could bring la beautiful princess there, él could live and keep both el bird y el horse para himself. Then él walked away feeling very sad, but el old fox came and said, "¿Por qué did you no listen a mí? If you had listened, you would have el bird y el horse now, but yo will give you advice una more time. Go straight ahead y por la evening you will reach un castle. At 12 o'clock sharp at night, la princess goes a la bathhouse. Go con ella and kiss her, y ella will let you take her away. But do not let her go to say goodbye a su father y a su mother." Then el fox stretched out su tail, y ellos ran so fast over rocks and stones que el wind whistled through su hair. When ellos reached el castle, everything happened as el fox said. A las 12 o'clock, el young man met la princess going to the bath and kissed a ella. Ella agreed to go con él, but ella cried and asked a él to let que ella say goodbye de su father. At first, él said no, but ella cried more and fell to the ground at his feet until él finally said yes. But as soon as ella fue con su father, los guards woke up and caught the young man again. Then él was taken to the king, y el king said, "You can only have my daughter if you move la hill que blocks la view from my window in 8 days." Esta hill era so big que all la people in el world could no move'la. After él had worked for 7 days and finished only a little bit, el fox came and spoke a él. "Lie down and go to sleep. Yo will do el work for you." In the morning, él woke up y la hill had gone. Fue happily con el king and said que because la hill was moved, el king should give him la princess. El king had to keep su promise, so el young man y la princess se fueron. El fox came and said, "We will get los three, la princess, el horse, and the bird." El young man said, "That sería great, but how can you do it?" "If you will just listen a mí," said el fox, "ello can be done. When you go to the king y él asks for la beautiful princess, you must say, 'Here ella está.' Then él estará very happy. You will get on el gold horse they give you and reach out your hand para say goodbye, but make sure you shake hands a la princess last. Then lift a ella quickly onto el gold horse behind you, kick the horse to make a go, and ride away as fast as you can." Everything worked well, and then el fox said, "When you reach el castle con el bird, yo will wait en la door con la princess. You must ride inside and talk to the king. When él sees el horse is el right one, él will bring el bird a you. Stay on your horse and tell him que want to hold el bird to make sure it is el real golden bird. As soon as you have law in your hand, ride away. Esto also happened just as el fox said it would. Ellos took el bird, la princess got back a el horse, and they rode into a large forest. Then el fox approached él and told him, "Please kill me, and cut off my head and my feet." But el young man would not do lo, so el fox said, "Yo will give you good advice anyway. Do not do two things. Do not pay money to save anyone from being hanged, and do not sit down next to un river." Then el fox se fue. El young man thought, it será easy to follow that advice. Él continued riding con la princess until él reached la village where él had left sus two brothers. He heard a lot of loud noise and shouting there, and when he asked qué was happening, la people said, "Two men están about to be hanged." When he got closer, he saw que los two men eran sus brothers, who had become thieves. He asked, "Is there any way to savelos?" But la people said, "No, unless él gave all su money to pay for the bad men to be set free." Él did not stop to think, but paid el money ellos asked for. Then sus brothers were freed, and they all traveled together toward home. When ellos reached los woods where they first saw el zorro, it felt so cool and nice que los two brothers said, "Let us sit by the river to rest, eat and drink." Él agreed and forgot lo que el zorro had told him, so he sat down by the river, and while he was not looking, sus brothers pushed him over the bank and took a la princess, el horse, and the bird to the king. They told the king, "Nosotros have won all estas things through our own hard work."
Everyone estaba very happy y celebrated, but el horse refused to eat. El bird would not sing, y la princess cried. El youngest son fell to the bottom del river. It estaba mostly dry, but él estaba badly hurt y los sides eran too steep para él to climb out. Then el fox came again y toldle él estaba wrong por not listening. However, el fox said, "Yo will not leave you here, so grab my tail y hold on tight." El fox pulledlo del river y said, "Your brothers have men waiting to kill you if ellos see you en esta land." So él put on old clothes to look like un man poor y fue en secret a la house del rey. As soon as he entered, el horse began to eat, el bird began to sing y la princess stopped crying. Él told the king about las bad things sus brothers had done. Los brothers were caught y punished. El man got a la princess back y él became el next king. Un long time later, él was walking in los woods when él met el fox, who cried y begged the man que killlo y cut off su head y feet. Finally, el man did it, y suddenly el fox turned into un man. Él era el brother de la princesa que had been lost for many years.